up, everybody? I'm Jordan Robinson, and I have been stressed this week with WNBA news. I hope that you guys have been following along. I hope the tea has been hot because, woo, so many things have happened just over these past few days, including a game 5 that went into overtime. Finals start tomorrow, but then some other news that has just been buzzing around the league. So we are going to get into all of that. I'm going to share my thoughts and my opinions and my reactions. And there's so much to talk about. It has been pure entertainment to be a WNBA fan this week. So let's start with game 5 because all of the other news was extra in the fact that we had a game 5 between the Indiana Fever and the Las Vegas Aces. How perfect was that to even get a win or take all game in the semifinals? Phoenix were already waiting in the wings, seeing who they were going to play in the finals. But the Aces get the win 107-98 in overtime on their home court. I was so surprised that this game still was close. Like the fever would not go away. Some people were saying on social media that they were like cockroaches, they just would not die. So many things were stacked against them besides the injuries. Kelsey Mitchell going down in the third quarter, which we're going to talk about. Aaliyah Boston fouling out. So many things were stacked against this Indiana Fever team, and they still made it close. They still pushed it to overtime. And I don't know about you, but there was definitely a moment there in that fourth quarter, and as they were making, I don't know, their fifth comeback, I was like, are the Fever going to be in the WNBA Finals? Like, are they really going to make it? That would be crazy. And still, the fact that they pushed it this close made it just as crazy. So let's still talk about this Fever team because Natasha Howard, I feel like, had a quiet 16 points. Aaliyah Boston, 11 points, 16 rebounds, but she did foul out. A controversial fifth foul called on that moving screen. But I want to talk about Odyssey Sims. Odyssey Sims, 27 points, 6 assists. She wasn't even on this team to start the season. She was on the LA Sparks. She got waived by the LA Sparks. And now she is on the Fever, being an integral part of why they are here in the first place. Odyssey Sims is a bucket. She is a baller. She has been for many years. She has been since she won the national championship at Baylor. She has been a hooper for so long, and she better be on a guaranteed contract next year. She needs to sign that in ink. Um, I was so proud of what Odyssey Sims was able to show off, especially in the midst of a scary moment where Kelsey Mitchell goes down, clinching the referee, the ref kind of having to help her to the floor. It was a non-contact injury. Kelsey has since come out and said that, she had a once in a lifetime kind of episode of her lower limbs just going numb, which is such a scary moment. They brought out the stretcher for a moment there. Nobody knew what was going to happen, and it would have been so easy for the Fever to just fold and not want to play the rest of that game. You saw Leah Boston, she was in tears, very much on brand, unfortunately, for just how this Fever season has gone. But still, they rallied, sent it into overtime, and made it close. But on the other side, it was the Las Vegas Aces that got it done in game 5. First time ever, two players having 30 pieces. Asia Wilson having 35, Jackie Young having 30, and they just went off, completely went off. and took over, especially Asia Wilson in that third quarter. Jackie Young was consistent throughout the game and especially taking over in overtime. But the last thing I'll say is that before the game started, I said that Chelsea Gray needs to have a great game. And that does not mean that Chelsea Gray needed to have 30 points, but she needed to be making good passes, having energy, taking charge, yelling at the crowd, hitting buzzer beaters at the shot clock. All of those things happen. And when that does happen, that is when the Aces are on go. They go how their point guard goes. And Chelsea Gray had one of those games to be able to pull it out in a game five. Overtime, game five. What more can you ask for, people? This is what basketball dreams are made of. And so when you look at the bracket of how we got here, the Aces now secure the second and last spot in the finals as they go up against the Phoenix Mercury. It is the 2 seed against the 4 seed. Woo! That's where we're at. And I have some predictions for how this series is going to go. Now, I have not game one is tomorrow. So this is just purely a guess, a guesstimate of how I see this series going. In the regular season, the Aces won the series against Phoenix 3-1. In the one game that Phoenix did beat the Aces, Asia Wilson did not play. So all of those things are important, but also 3 out of those 4 games were decided within 6 points. So this has been a close battle. I think all of these games are going to be very, very close. So starting with game 1, I think rest is going to be key here. I think the Phoenix Mercury are going to steal game 1 on the Aces home court. The Aces have home court advantage. Also, just a note here, you see there are 7 games. I do think the series goes to 7, and this is the first year ever that the WNBA will have 7 games in their finals. So why not just give people what they want? Let's just go the full distance in the first year of it. Game 2, I have the Aces coming back. They win game 2. I think it's also important that the Aces dropped game 1 in the last series. Sometimes they just need a little bit of that wake-up call. I think it's a strong argument for them to just be riding this overtime win, and they have the least amount of rest, so they can just roll into it. But I see the Mercury shocking everybody on game 1. Aces coming back in game 2. Then they go to Phoenix, and I have the Aces winning game 3 as well. This is just when Asia Wilson is just taking over. She's taking over. She sees it. She sees the finals in sight, and she starts taking over. Now, game 4. Crucial game, especially in a 7-game series. This is also very much a marathon, not a sprint. I think it's going to be an adjustment period for players to get used to in the fact that it is a 7-game series. But game 4, I have Phoenix coming back, winning game 4. Just to make it interesting, just to make it spicy. I think that's what's going to happen. Then game 5, I have the Phoenix winning again. This is when everybody's starting to be like, oh, shoot, are the Mercury going to win the finals? Are they going to do it? Alyssa Thomas has set the WNBA record with triple doubles this season. She finished 3rd in MVP voting. Kalia Copper is a former finals MVP. They have DeWanna Bonner, who has won 2 championships on this Phoenix Mercury team. We can go more into the matchup between these 2 teams, but I think that's what's going to start showing in game 5. All right. Then it starts getting interesting because best of 7, you only need 4 to win. So game 6 comes around, must win for the Mercury. The Aces win. The Aces win. Go to game 6, then game 7 in a best of 7 series, 2 teams equally matched up. I have the Las Vegas Aces winning game 7 for their 3rd title in 4 years, I believe is the stat. I want to check myself there. But this team is so solid, and Asia Wilson is very solid. And I want to already give her the finals MVP. I know that that is earned, but my prediction, my guess is that the four-time league MVP that we have never seen it done before in league history, I think she gets her second finals MVP. And what she has been able to do in these playoffs, not even the regular season, not even the first half of the season, the second half of the season, with the Aces finishing the regular season on a 16 game winning streak. How superstar like she has been during that time. Just think specifically about the playoffs. She has been on a whole nother world, whole nother planet. No one is comparable to Asia Wilson. And you think the finals she's gonna switch up? No. I think the best part is that she has had down games. So it's not like she has just been coasting this whole time and the finals, it's like, ooh, is she going to be able to keep it up? She's had bad games and her team has been able to rally around her, which is making me have more confidence in the Aces because I think at the beginning of the season, Asia had to have a 30 piece for them to even have a chance. And now she's having 30 pieces, them losing, but also she's having a 15 point, 13 point night, and the Aces are finding a way to win. This was against the Indiana Fever. The Phoenix Mercury are the best defensive team in these playoffs. The Aces are the best offensive team in these playoffs. Asia Wilson is a huge reason why. And the Phoenix Mercury, their scouting report is okay, how do we stop Asia? How do we stop Asia? Nobody has had that answer, but that is what you're going to have to do. That is my prediction that the Aces are the WNBA champions based off of what I have seen from this series, based off of how they match up well with Phoenix. I think Phoenix has lacks a little bit of height. I wonder, they're going to rely heavily on Natasha Mack, but do you bring in Kalani Brown for more minutes against the Aces? Like they are bigger. AT is strong, but she's also bringing up the ball on the floor. She's not really known as a jump shooter, so the Aces might just clog the paint and make the Mercury shoot threes, which they also are very good at. So I think it's going to be a very balanced matchup. I think it's going to be really, really good. Let's go to the chat real quick. Should be a competitive finals, expecting it to go 6 or 7 games. I'm with you, Tulip, because I got it going 7 games. Now, that is totally selfish. I don't want this WNBA season to end. I want it to stretch for as long as possible. And I truly feel like a 7 game series after what we have done and what we've been through this WNBA season is just needed. It's needed, it's necessary, and we want it. So I'm with you. I'm with you. The Aces are too reliant on two players. I would disagree with that, respectfully. I think that they can be, and I think Jackie Young and Asia Wilson are those players, but I think Dana Evans has shown she can go off. Nalissa Smith has shown she could go off. Chelsea Gray is a former finals MVP. This team is stacked with so many options. I think even though the Mercury have a big three, they're reliant on their three players. Superstars have to be superstars in the finals. That's what has to happen. If you get something from the others, that's great. But in the finals, you are relying on your superstars. Don't ask for a sub. Don't ask for a break. This is your time to shine. So I think that that's okay. And you need more from others to make sure that you have the depth. But I'm looking towards the MVP and I'm saying, go show everybody why you're the MVP. All right, last one. I've got the Mercury edging a close series and AT winning her first chip and finals MVP. Now, that is a storyline I could get behind. Even though that is not my prediction, I am so rooting for Alyssa Thomas to get her first championship. She has been the bridesmaid so many times. She has been to the finals so many times. This is her first team of her first time with the Mercury to be able to go to the finals. And I just love that she has an opportunity to get her first ring, get a finals MVP, even though she didn't get the MVP vote, she finished third. And all of the hard work and the incredible season that she has had, um, could be capped with the championship trophy. I am so down for that storyline. So I don't want just because I didn't pick it, I would still very much be happy and root for that if that happens. And Dewana Bonner getting another ring with the Mercury would be incredible. Them getting a ring together as an engaged couple. Perfection. Okay. So now that was the basketball side, and something else happened this week. No, not the Dallas Wings firing their coach, which was also great news. And Dallas Wings fans, I could hear you all rejoicing. We could talk about that another time. I'm talking about Nafisa Collier during her exit interview just completely lighting up the WNBA with a written statement that specifically called out WNBA leadership, but even more specifically called out Kathy Engelbert. We have some clips and then we'll react on the other side.
But what's truly unsustainable is keeping a good product on the floor while allowing officials to lose control of games. Fans see it every night. Coaches, both winning and losing, pointed out every night in pregame and postgame media. I also asked how she planned to fix the fact that players like Caitlin, Angel, and Paige, who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league, are making so little for their first 4 years. Her response was, Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. And in that same conversation, she told me, players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them. I'm not concerned about a fine. I'm concerned about the future of our sport. At some point, everyone deserves to hear the truth from someone who I hope has earned the benefit of the doubt to fight for what is right and fair for our athletes and our fans. We have the best players in the world. We have the best fans in the world. But right now, we have the worst leadership in the world. If I didn't know exactly what the job entailed, maybe I wouldn't feel this way. But unfortunately for them, I do.
The perfect mic drop to an incredible statement. Unfortunately for them, I do. She runs her own league. She knows what it takes to be able to make solid relationships while also making tough decisions. And by calling out Kathy Engelbert on a variety of topics, even outside of the clips that we showed, her saying that when I got injured, I heard from so many people around the league, never heard from Kathy. You have legends like Alana Deladon reacting to that statement from Nafisa Collier and saying, yeah, I don't even know if Kathy knows I retired. I heard from everybody but her. Like just things like that have been echoing around the league about the character of the commissioner. Now, let's talk about these specific alleged comments that Nafisa Collier says that Kathy Engelbert said during a private conversation at Unrivaled in February. The fact that Caitlin Clark should be grateful to the WNBA, grateful that she's able to make $16 million outside of the league. First of all, let me just say that Nafisa Collier is a genius by specifically bringing up Caitlin, Angel, and Paige Beckers. She knew what bringing up those powerful young players would mean for this league. And then having a specific quote about Caitlin was so smart. So smart. Caitlin has since responded in her exit interview saying that she did not hear that from Kathy. Kathy has not reached out to her. This was her first time hearing it, as Nafisa Collier said, and she feels like Fee has made very valid points. Um, the other thing is that the players should be on their knees thanking her for the media rights deal that she got them. What delusional world do you think that we are in, Kathy Engelbert? You can't get a media rights deal without the players playing great basketball. What? Like this whole idea that the players being great at what they do has nothing to do with the league's success is insane to me. The other part is Kathy Engelbert released a statement after the WNBA world was on fire from Nafisa Collier's comments. And it was a weak statement, you guys. I'm gonna be honest. It was so weak. It had to be quick. So you know that the PR team was working overtime to craft this statement. She did not explicitly deny saying those things to Fee. She said that it was unfortunate how it was characterized, how their conversation was characterized, which whatever that means. Look, Kathy is going to address the media an hour before the finals game on Friday. And, we will be set because a lot is riding on how Kathy responds to this because everybody, rightfully so, is coming for her head. The comments aside, this is a very pivotal point in the WNBA. We've talked about it all season long. This CBA is the most important, and I would argue, not only in women's basketball, but in women's sports history. I know I wrote a book on the history of women's basketball. There have been other CBAs, but this one is very important. And unfortunately, what Nafisa Collier said is we can't afford to keep having private conversations. We have to make it public. I will go on record and say that I think this wasn't about the foul call. Yes, referees were mentioned, and that is a whole separate issue. And I believe there should be something very specific in the CBA about referees and how they are appointed to WNBA and how they get here. But Fee knew that her voice is respected, and it was a very pivotal time for her to speak up. Throughout WNBA history, there have been moments where players have to take things public. And unfortunately, that's how things get done. We talked about it even from the All-Star game with the pay us what you owe us shirts. Like, these are very public things that have to be done in order to shake the league office to say we mean business. These are business women. They know what they're talking about, and they also are very smart and not dumb to the fact that without them, you have no league. You have no media rights deal. You have nothing. So if we don't play or if we continue to show you guys how much of a poorly run business this is, then you will have nothing without us. And I think it was smart. I think it was genius, beautifully written, and puts the ball completely in Kathy Engelbert's hand, but in the league office hand to either make a play to remove Kathy Engelbert as commissioner. There have been rumors by the Sports Business Journal that after these CBA negotiations, Kathy Engelbert could be out the door. Let me remind you, this is the first commissioner in WNBA history. There has never been a commissioner before. There have been presidents, there have been forward facing people, but there has never been a commissioner before. And Kathy is kind of riding the coattails of the great things she's done of yesteryear. But we're talking about right now. Yesterday's price is not today's price. You can't still be talking about the old CBA. It's past that. So, a lot to unpack from these statements and a lot to see how Kathy responds in her press conference tomorrow and how everything moves forward from here. You've already seen Indiana Fever players speaking out from Nafisa Collier's comments. I think that was just the first domino to fall, and more players are going to speak out as they should as the CBA expires on October 31st. Do I think that they are going to reach a deal in a few weeks? No. No, no, no. I don't think so. What does that mean? Expansion draft could be pushed back. The actual draft could be pushed back. Free agency could be pushed back. The start of the season next year could be pushed back. There is so many implications when there's a lot of money on the line from those media deals of things being shaken up by the league not giving the players what they deserve. Whew. That is my soapbox. Fee completely emptied the clip as she should, as she needed to. It was incredible, perfect, 10 out of 10, no notes. No notes whatsoever. All right, let's recap this WNBA heat check of a week. So I thoroughly enjoyed game 5, which means we get the Mercury and the Aces in the WNBA Finals. My prediction goes as followed. Mercury takes game 1, then the Aces take game 2 and game 3, and then the Mercury come back, storm back game 4 and 5 and take those. But the last 2 games belong to the Aces, and the Las Vegas Aces are my prediction for a WNBA champion. When back in July, they were sitting at 500, finished the regular season after All-Star break on a 16-game winning streak. And I have Asia Wilson being crowned as Finals MVP the same season. She wins her 4th WNBA MVP, her co-defensive player of the year, and let's just throw in a Finals MVP for good measure. As we look at the bracket, the Phoenix Mercury were able to get through the Minnesota Lynx, who were definitely a favorite. They were my favorite to win it all, and the New York Liberty to secure their spot. Kalia Copper is already saying, keep not picking us. Don't pick us. We like being the underdogs. We like coming in as the underdogs. And right now, that is what they are. They play incredible defense, the best defense in the postseason against the best offense in the postseason in the Las Vegas Aces. But again, I have the Aces winning it all. It should be a really, really, really fun series. I have it going 7 games because why not? It's the first year for 7 games. That's what we need. That's what we want. So that's just me just being hopeful that we get that much basketball. Then to recap the other huge news, the huge bomb that was dropped in the WNBA sphere, Nafisa Collier doing a statement for her exit interview with the Minnesota Lynx, just spraying it all out on the WNBA leadership, specifically Kathy Engelbert, saying things like we have the best players in the world, the best fans in the world, but unfortunately we have the worst leadership in the world. calling out alleged quotes specifically from Kathy in a one-on-one conversation that they had in February, saying that the players should be on their knees, thanking her for the media rights deal, saying only losers complain about the refs. We didn't even talk about that. So many things that make Kathy look really, really awful and WNBA leadership looking like they don't know what they're doing in the midst of monumental CBA negotiations. This is a pivotal time in the WNBA and in women's sports. And these players who are not only should the league be so grateful that these players are playing in their league, but are continuing to show up and put their bodies on the line. And like Nafisa Collier said, for a shield, for a league that will not protect them, that is not protecting them. Why should they? Why should they continue to do that? And then we don't have anything. So it should be a very interesting offseason. Again, this is a developing story. I think that there is going to be more quotes, more comments coming out from it. But we have the finals starting tomorrow. So that's the number one thing I'm excited about. Game one, Aces versus Mercury. It's going to be a good one. Thanks so much for hanging out, guys. This has been so fun. What a week in the WNBA. I'll see you next week.